Hey guys, and welcome back to Jess and Reid's Romance. I'm Jessin, and today I'm going to be talking about my book recommendations that feature plus-size, body-positive heroines, and also talk about some books that are on my radar and I want to read. Some of you may have watched my review for One to Watch by Kate Stayman in London, and it's a book that I did not feel really captured what I'm looking for when it comes to plus size heroines. And I talked to a lot of people who agreed with me and who were also searching for more body positive plus size heroine representation in romance that didn't put the heroines through the ringer in order for them to get the HEA and use their body weight as a point of conflict. So shout out to Amanda from Talk About Spoon and also to Mila, who were having some amazing conversations with me on Instagram talking about what we're searching for, what we're yearning for. Because for me personally, I think there's been a movement in Romancelandia for more body type representation, and I think we're getting there, but I still see the majority of body representation in romance coming with like the caveat that the heroine who is plus size is unhappy with her weight, and then by the end of the book she learns to accept her weight. That is not what I'm looking for. I'm tired of those types of depressing storylines. I know some people commented after my One to Watch video and review that they thought that it accurately reflected a fat woman's experience, which I agree. That does not mean I want my romances to be hyper realistic. I don't need all of that in my romances. I don't need all the hate and vitriol to carry over into this genre that for me, I'm looking for an escape from all of that. And so I'd rather read about a positive experience than a negative experience. I will always gravitate towards heroines who have a more positive experience than heroines who are going to be put through the ringer and it's going to make me like cry. I'll read angsty books. I have to be in the mood to read those types of books, but I will say that I'm probably never going to be in the mood to read a book about a plus size heroine who is self-hating or wishes that she could lose the weight or even receives that type of hatred from someone else in the book. I think it's an unnecessary aspect of the plus size woman's experience that since you're the author, you can choose to exclude that type of thing and only focus on the positive. And that's what I want, personally. And in case you think that I'm just hating on One to Watch, that is not the only book that I gave a low rating because I felt like the heroine was incredibly self-hating and it didn't necessarily add to the story, it just made it more depressing. I gave a low rating to The Dare by Elle Kennedy and also The Third Best Thing by Maya Hughes. In fact, Elle Kennedy I normally rate 4 or 5 stars, but The Dare, I was really excited. I was like, ooh, plus size representation. But that representation turned out not to be so great, so I also rated those low. I just don't like it personally, and everyone has a different reading experience, and I don't want this to be part of my reading experience. So let's talk about the books that I consider to be body positive with plus size heroines. First up, we have Grin and Bearded by Penny Reid. This is a part of her Winston Brothers series, and I absolutely love this book. From the moment that we meet the heroine Sienna, we know that she is over the top, very confident. I love her. She is a movie star. She's also a writer. She writes her own scripts. She's like directs her own movies. She is a force to be reckoned with, and she's like Hollywood's sweetheart. And she is plus size. She has accepted her body and she has no problem with showing it off. So whenever the hero, a very tall, fit, bearded, handsome park ranger shows an interest in her, she's like, oh yes, I would like that, please. And she doesn't ever at any point think that she's undeserving because of the type of body that she has. On top of that, Sienna is just hilarious. I love her wit and I love her banter. I just really love Sienna. And thank you to Jessica Jarvis from Instagram for reminding me about Sienna. I always forget about her. I just love her so much, and it's just, her weight is such a non-issue in the book that I forget. And then of course we have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book created waves for featuring a plus size heroine, and her body weight is not an issue. She does have a point of conflict with her body, but but it's because she has fibromyalgia. Her weight isn't the issue. The hero thinks that she is the sexiest thing he's ever seen from the very beginning, and she is not afraid to wearing lacy underwear and lingerie. I think they have a conversation where her grandmother's trying to buy her like La Perla lingerie, and I just love the confidence that they have in their body. Talia Hibbert is probably my go-to right now for body positivity. None of her heroines have an issue with their body, and I'll be mentioning her a lot in this video because the next book is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. She also is a plus size character. Again, never an issue. Her body type is never an issue. And it's even mentioned that she has cellulite. The hero shows up at her apartment and she just like in relaxing clothes and booty shorts and like a tank top. She's going for her PhD, and so she's just kind of like relaxing in her apartment. And so he appears and she realizes her butt's like half hanging out of her shorts. And instead of feeling like embarrassed or feeling the need to cover up, she turns around and she slaps her butt. Like she's teasing the hero and being like, yeah, I know you want some of this. So I'm like, yeah. This is what I want. And the hero even is admiring her dimpled thighs, and I'm just like, yeah, cellulite, it's normal. Everyone has it. Even really skinny people have cellulite. So I'm just like, normalize cellulite and stretch marks and not making a big deal about them. I think the more that we read about heroines who don't try to hide their stretch marks or cellulite or rolls, I think the more that readers who might not possess that confidence, maybe they'll start gaining confidence, because like, oh, here's a woman who's very confident in her body and she's not trying to hide, and she's very accepting of her body, and she meets a hero who's very accepting of her body and doesn't make an issue out of it, because that's who you should be with, somebody who doesn't judge you based on the physical. So I don't know, that's just what I want. And then we have Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. Unfortunately, there was a very skinny person on this book cover, but Cassandra is plus size. She has to have her dresses all let out, and she's constantly eating treats, and the hero is just like, yeah, no, I love it. Like, keep eating, yes. Love it. In a time period where, like, you know, thinner figures were the norm, she is not the norm, and she doesn't hate her body. She's just kind of like, it is what it is. Sometimes she's kind of like, ooh, my dresses have to be let out, but for the most part she's very positive about her body, and the hero is just like never thinks that she needs to lose weight ever at all. Like, it's not a thing for him. I do wish that Avon would have had a more accurate heroine, but that's not Lisa Kleypas's fault. Authors do have a very limited amount of like power when it comes to changing the book cover. So yeah, maybe one day we'll get like a recover of all those and we'll get a better representation for Cassandra. Staying in the historical realm, we have Brazen and the Beast by Sarah MacLean, and I really love this heroine. Hattie is very confident. She's not only a bigger girl, but she's very tall. So she is in a world of like dainty little short petite little misses. She's tall and she's plus size, and I really love her confidence. I really do need to read more Sarah MacLean's. Actually, Brazen the Beast is the only book by her that I have read, even though I have a bunch of hers on my Kindle. You should see my TBR pile, it's insane. I still need to read more Sarah MacLean's, so I'll be getting to that. Next, I have to mention Xeni by Rebekah Weatherspoon. I think all of Rebekah Weatherspoon's heroines are on the plus size. Plus size, average size, you know, no lower than a size 12 or 14. I would say that Rebekah Weatherspoon's, all of her heroines are plus size. And Xeni in particular is one of my favorites. And it's probably because the hero is also kind of plus size too, and I just really love that representation. I had a lot of fun with these characters. They're kinky, they're amazing, and I love them. Love, love, love. Oh, and by the way, both characters in this book are bisexual, so representation. An honorable mention for books that I have read and I can recommend is Blackshot by Kennedy Ryan. I say honorable mention because there is sort of an issue with Banner's weight, especially whenever she's younger and in college. Something happened surrounding her weight, but as we see her as an adult, she's pretty much accepted her body type, though she does have a few instances where she might think like, oh no, my stomach, but then she's like forgets about it. So I find those instances to be very minimal. not enough to bother me, and I really love Kennedy Ryan, so I'm putting her on there. Now, here are a few books that I really want to read, and I know that everyone has said they have great body positive plus size heroine representation. The first one is Harbor by Rebekah Weatherspoon. This is part of her Beards and Bondage series, so it's more of on the erotic side, kind of like her what is the series with So Sweet? Kind of like on that side of things. I've only read Haven, which is the first book in that series. I haven't yet read Sanctuary, but I do have that one. And then Harbor, I believe recently came out sometime in the summer. I also believe that this is an MMF romance, which I'm excited about because I love them and I'm looking for more MMF romances. We reviewed one on the podcast, Too Hot to Handle by Elle Kennedy. And I've read a couple other ones. Most of them lean more on the erotic side of things. What was the other one that I read? I think it was Sugar Daddies by Jade West. Yeah, that was really kinky. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. And then I have Bad for the Boss by Talia Hibbert. I actually own this entire series. I bought the Just for Him series after I read Work for It, which is one of Talia Hibbert's MM romances. And the Just for Him series is like a prequel to Work for It, though Work for It could be read as a standalone. Next, I have Olivia Dade on my list. Now, she has been an author that I've been meaning to read. In fact, I have an arc of Spoiler Alert, which I'm going to be reading very soon. It comes out in October, and I might even read it sooner rather than later. I normally try to read arcs closer to the release date just to make sure that I write that review and I don't forget anything about it, but I might be reading it sooner because I'm in the mood to go find some more plus size heroines that are proud of their body. I just need it in my life now. I know that 40 Love is also a popular book by Olivia Dade, so I'm gonna check those both out. Let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions for body positive plus size heroines. I really prefer the romances that feature plus size heroines to not have a conflict that revolves around the weight of the heroine, or that not to be her internal conflict and a hindrance to like the relationship, like she thinks she's not worthy of the hero, or that the hero is too hot to be seen with her and everyone else's opinion about them dating is like a factor and holds her back from committing to him. I don't like that. That's pretty much what I avoid when it comes to plus size heroines, but let me know if you have any that you think that I would like, because I seriously want to create, I need to create a whole shelf on Goodreads just dedicated to body positivity. So these books are going to be going on that, and I hope to add a lot more because I'm really hoping that this is going to be normalized. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified on any future videos that I'm going to be doing. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye guys.